Thank you so much for joining me on this platform, and thank you so much for being so brave, for making the decision to transform the biggest hurt in your life into the biggest transformation towards healing. Because this is the biggest gift you can give yourself, your children, and the world. Chances are very high you are a brave parent, and so am I. In 2020, I lost my 2-year-old daughter Cynthia after she drowned in a pool at the house of friends we were visiting. Cynthia, she was so funny. She could be naughty sometimes. She was a social butterfly and she was super, super loving. We were living on the island of Aruba, one happy island. And often we would go to the hotel lobby where there was live music. And she would just go and sit with a group of elderly women, and she would just put smiles on everybody's faces. She would be dancing around, walking around, making everybody smile. And at the time, I had an amazing daycare. And even there, if parents of other children would come, she would make sure to greet them as well and give them a big warm hug. Sometimes even saying she just wants to join those other parents and also go and play at their house. She would just make so many people smile. She was amazing. And just as every child is amazing and unique in their own way, she was not this grief that I am experiencing, this sadness. Her essence is those emotions that she brought up in me, which was joy, laughter, fun, love. And if I truly want to connect with her again, I have to find my way back to those emotions. So after I just lost Cynthia, my whole world just shattered into pieces. I didn't know how to deal with life anymore. I thought my life was over, that I was never going to be able to enjoy life ever again, and that the only reason that I was still here was to help raise my other children, but there was no joy in it anymore. That's what I thought. And wherever I would go, I would feel like I was carrying this huge boulder with me. And even though in the first month some friends would show their support and their loving words, none of it was enough. I didn't have my family around because they live in the Netherlands and I live in Aruba. And it was so lonely. I found my refuge in some Facebook groups of other bereaved parents where I could share my thoughts, where I could ask questions, where there were people who truly understood me, and where I could share certain thoughts that only somebody who had lost a child would have. But after a while, I realized that my Facebook was flooding with stories of how other people lost their children, but also of parents who lost their children years ago and still were not able to recover from that, who were still so hurt and were still triggered into sadness a lot of the times, who would not be able to enjoy Christmas, holidays, other happy things because they missed their children so much. But I had 2 other children, and Cynthia, she deserved an emotionally available mother. If I was that at the time, at the day where I lost her, I most probably wouldn't have lost her, but I was not. I was an exhausted mother. I was an exhausted mother who wanted to be the most amazing mother, who wanted to be the most amazing daycare owner and a very supportive partner. I looked for everything on the internet that would help my children thrive, to be the best versions of themselves. The extended breastfeeding, the cloth diapering, the baby-led weaning, the attachment parenting. I did all of it. I breastfed my first son for 3 years, and I wanted to do the same thing for my 2 daughters who came after. I was breastfeeding my 2 daughters at the time that Cynthia passed, which meant that I never slept through the night. I would wake up every night 5 times, 3 times, because Cynthia would wake up and want to breastfeed, and 2 times for Juliet. Do you know what happens when you never sleep? And when you also run your own business? It's not healthy. Of course, the internet says that all of those things are the right choice for a child to help them thrive. But if you don't take care of yourself, you cannot take care of other people. I was so exhausted. I was not emotionally available. I was not in tune with my gut feeling. I didn't listen to my heart. That was who I was when I lost Cynthia. And I believe that truly was also the reason why I lost Cynthia. But I also believe that if I would be able to go back in the past, I wouldn't be able to change a thing, because I would go straight back into the programming that led me to not listen to my gut feeling when I heard something at the pool. I looked twice at the pool, but I never knew that drowning is the #1 cause of children passing away under the age of 3. I never knew that when a small child gets into the water without their floaties, they just be still in the water. I didn't know that. But I heard something at the pool. And I stood up and I looked. But the person across from me said, "You heard something?" I said, "I thought so." She said, "I didn't hear anything." I looked twice, but the water was just quiet. I should have listened to my gut feeling. I heard something there. But because the other person said, I didn't hear anything, and she was also facing the pool, she said she didn't hear anything and she also didn't see anything. I assumed that my daughter was playing inside. I didn't walk towards the pool. I didn't listen to my gut feeling. Instead, I thought, I must be crazy. Because it happened so many times before where I was in bed, waking up, I thought I heard something, a burglar, and I sent my partner out and he said, "Oh, it was nothing." And then you lose a child, and then how do you keep going? Luckily, the father of my 2 daughters had a meditation teacher in the Netherlands that he found very valuable, and he learned a lot of things from her. So he paid tickets for her to come and stay in Aruba. He paid for a place for her to stay. And I got to spend a lot of time with her, and she helped me how to use mindfulness techniques. She was able to give me a different perspective on life. And although I didn't really understand everything she said, it was the beginning of my healing journey. I started reading books because psychologists didn't understand me. They didn't give me what I exactly needed because they never been through the same thing. I had to find my own way. I started reading hundreds of books, taking a lot of courses about trauma, near-death experiences, our environment, how our brain works, epigenetic. I learned so many things, but most important is I learned how to apply all of these things and how to have inner dialogues with myself, to find certain limiting beliefs, to find emotions that are still stuck in my body. Like a deer in the forest, hearing something in the bushes. He gets all the energy to fight or flight. But when it was just a little mouse, he just releases that energy by shaking. But we are so smart as humans, we just override that natural mechanism that we actually do have. We just feel like we have to act normal. I mean, when your boss is screaming at you, you cannot run away or fight him. When you are a little child and you are in the hospital and you need to get an IV, you cannot run away. Those kind of stresses get stuck in our body, and anything that reminds us of that moment, some part of us takes over to protect us for the same situation to happen again. Think of having an abusive ex and you haven't recovered from that. And he used to drive a red sport wagon. Now, when you are driving in your car and you see a red sports wagon, your heart starts racing because you get reminded of that ex. And this is how you will start getting triggered by so many things, because after you get older, you had so much more stressful things happen to you. So your bucket basically gets filled because you never learn how to release those emotions. And they cause for you also to have limiting beliefs. And those cause for you also to have certain behaviors that don't serve your highest good. You get out of tune with your gut feeling. And you start listening to your own fears and your own protectors. Now, I learned that to connect with Cynthia is not through grieving and through crying, and that's also not for me the way to honor her. My way to honor her and connect with her is by feeling those emotions that were also the emotions of her essence. The joy, the love, the connection. That was who she truly was. Feeling so proud. That was my Cynthia. And by feeling that again, I am connecting with her. And Cynthia is not the toys that she played with. Cynthia is not the clothes that she used to have, the bed that she used to sleep in. Cynthia was amazing, and she was love. She was so much love. And she was, for me, Cynthia has given me the biggest amount of love that I could have ever received. Because having her in my life and losing her, the pain was so unbearable that my normal coping mechanisms that I used to deal with stress, like eating sugar, shopping, scrolling on my phone just to get dopamine to get through the day, those things didn't happen anymore after I lost her. I had to find another way, and it made me decide that I had to become a better person, that I had to start looking at myself. And I learned now how to make a U-turn, how to, when something outside of me stresses me, to look on the inside to see what is triggered here. What am I trying to protect? What is this touching in me that is still left unhealed? And therefore I can be more loving towards other people as well. It doesn't mean I have to accept everything and everybody's behaviors, but it means that I can step in my power. That whatever somebody does outside of me doesn't have to affect me on the inside, because I am in the power to decide if this is going to make me sad or not, or if I'm going to use this opportunity once again to heal myself. If somebody else is cursing at me, if somebody else is giving me names and I get very emotional about it, it shows that I am very insecure myself. It shows that I actually don't know my self-worth. This journey has given me back my health, has making me take much better care of my own health and my body. And I can even see it in my face. I've become so much softer and so much more energized. I used to be tired all the time. It's just the stress. I was living in survival for so long, and this has been my awakening. And if you feel that you also want to honor your child by becoming a more healed version of yourself, I am here to guide you. I offer a coaching program where we can just one-on-one talk with each other, where you can tell me where you are. And it could be that you have recently lost a child, or maybe you've lost a child many years ago, but you have made the conscious decision to honor your child through being a more healed version, through finding that connection with your heart again, through finding that connection with your gut feeling again. You want to find more peace of mind. You want to become more healthy, and you want to spread love again in whatever way that is. Because when you can return to love, when you can return to self love, you can also give that towards other people at your job, in your community, in your town, and most your family. I am here to ask for you to ask all your questions. I know a lot of the thoughts that you might have as well. You could ask me how I've dealt with certain situations that you are dealing with, how to handle other people and their comments and their non-understanding. How can you deal with that in a loving way? How can you make sure that doesn't trigger you anymore? How can you enjoy the holidays again? How can you honor your child? What kind of rituals can you do? But I'm here not to only coach you through your grief, which is very important because the only way to heal is through feeling. So I'm here to sit with you and create that safe space where I can feel your pain together with you, to guide you through it, to make it more softer, to make it melt away. But let's go so much more deeper. I've learned the 3 ways of healing. Everything is so connected. You cannot separate the mind from the body, and you can also not separate the person from its environment. Let's have a closer look at how you are thinking, how you are coping, how you are behaving, which is all part of the mind. Let's see, how are you taking good care of your body? What stuck emotions are still stuck in your body? How can we apply somatic therapies for that? How can we nurture your body more? What does your body need? And how is your environment? How were you raised? How are the connections with the people around you? How is your connection with your family? What kind of friends are you having? Are they spiritual partners, or are they more friends who keep you comfort when you are complaining about somebody else, pointing your finger at somebody else? Do you have friends who say, yes, that person is indeed a bad person? Or are your friends saying, what are they triggering inside of you? And how can we help you deal with that? I want to be your spiritual partner in this journey. I have walked away and I know how to use the 3 pillars for healing: mind, body, and environment. Plan your sessions right now and let's conquer this journey together. I will not only help you through our sessions, but I will also give you the tools to keep on going in this journey, to become resilient and know how to deal with future stressors, future emotional moments. I will guide your way. Thank you so much for being here, for being so courageous, and I wish you all the love and healing.